Okay, so hi family. Today we are going to talk about identity clutter and how it's affecting just moving into the new identity, your new space, your new mindset, so that you can continue to grow. Identity clutter are items that accumulate in our home from current or previous versions of ourselves. In this video, we're going to declutter our old school area in order to make room for an updated space that complements this new identity. So this is for you if you are having trouble with taking action on your new goal. Like you want to start a business, you want to write a book, you want to do something, but you're having trouble with getting started or even sticking to the habit because of the identity clutter that's around you. This is also for you if you are getting over a breakup. So if you are leaving a situation, leaving a relationship, identity clutter will keep you stuck because when you see that item that reminds you of that person, it'll keep you stuck. This is also for you if you are ready for a change of environment, if you are ready for a new place. I know with me, when I was living with my grandfather, I had to look at the old identity clutter that I had, the things that were in my space and in my environment, and figure out what was coming with me and what was not. And then this is also for you if you're starting a new journey, if you're starting motherhood, like the Bethany before motherhood had different things. She had different items around her space. If you are becoming a new CEO, if you are becoming, a wife or anything, there are items that are in your home that are attached to your old identity, and there are items in your home that will complement your new identity. And we're going to go through just these 3 simple steps to help you with organizing your home so that it complements your new identity, so that you can finally step into it, because our environment affects us more than we know. So the first thing that you're going to do is know your limit by checking in with yourself. Pay attention to how you feel when you walk in a space. So for me, I felt tired when looking at this old school area. I was also avoidant. Summer started, school is over, but also I'm changing my identity from being their teacher to being just their mom, just the person that they can have fun with. So this area is going to be changed from the school area to a crafting area into a work area for myself. But I had to just pay attention to your body, pay attention to what it is that you're avoiding, because that's letting you know what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Because if you're avoiding that area, it's something that you don't want to continue. It's something that doesn't bring you pleasure, and it's something that it's okay to let go of. The second thing is to pay attention to what your clutter is telling you. So as I am decluttering, I'm paying attention to just where I'm putting my things. So a question that you can ask yourself is, where is your brain naturally telling you to put things? For me specifically, when I walk in the house, my natural reaction or my natural trait is to take my bag and put it down in that area. So I knew that while I was decluttering, I would have to make a space and zone a space to have my bags in a certain area. I also paid attention to my family, especially if you don't live alone. You have to pay attention to what it is that your family is naturally doing, what their tendencies are, so that you can plan accordingly, so that I know for myself, specifically for my family, they tend to put things on top of this area. So I want to make sure it's nice and clean, have minimal things on there, so that when they do put stuff on here, I won't get as irritated because it's not overstimulated. I can easily remove that item and put it in its proper home. Another thing that you can do when we talk about paying attention to what your clutter is telling you is pay attention to what you're burying and why. You might be avoiding or burying within your declutter is something that you bought, like something that you feel like, oh, this was what I wanted to do, this is my best self, but unconsciously or subconsciously, I'm not sure the right word, you're hiding it because you're scared to step into your new self. You're scared to step into your best self. So you might be like hiding the weights or hiding the treadmill or just hiding different things. Pay attention to what your clutter is telling you. Pay attention to what you're burying. Pay attention to what is you're pushing to the side. Because a lot of times, especially if you're a mom, especially if you're a caregiver, you will sacrifice and you will bury stuff that elevates your self-care in order to take care of everyone else. So it's important that as we're decluttering, as we're getting rid of the old identity, so I'm getting rid of all of everything that relates to teaching. I'm getting rid of that. I'm throwing it in trash. And when I'm like going through the piles and looking through the stuff, I'm seeing what I'm burying. And I'm paying attention and I'm making sure that I'm making myself the top priority when it comes to just this area. The one thing that I want us to focus on when it comes to just decluttering any area in our home is to specifically focus on our self-care. It's not about your family. It's not about what it is that you should do in your home. It's about how you feel when you're in your home. It's about taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, especially if you're a caregiver. All right, and then the last thing is to decide your identity. So decide, like, what is this new area going to be? For myself, I had to decide, like, who is this new person? A question that I asked myself is, what would my highest, happiest, purpose-filled, loving, financially free, self-love to see when she is in this space? So you can ask yourself that, like, what would the most relaxed version of me like to see in this space? How would she like to feel in this space? And declutter according to that identity, because the only way that we'll get there is if we remove the things from our home, from our physical space that are not aiding to that person, to that identity that we want, that we are. When you are deciding your identity, is be okay with letting other people's identity of you die. This one is a big one for me, especially if you are like a people pleaser, especially if you grew up being a people pleaser and you're trying to get yourself back, you're trying to become more into yourself. You have to be okay with letting people's identity of you die. So if you had a business, say if you were like a t-shirt person, like everybody knew you for your t-shirts and you used to make branded items and all that stuff, and everybody knew you for that. Like, or if you were an artist, everybody knew you for your art, but you're no longer in that, you're no longer open to that, that's no longer what it is that you're interested in. It's okay. You have to be okay with letting their identity of you die, which means removing the items, removing all of the t-shirts, removing all of the products so that you can make room for your new identity and continue to grow. And then the last thing that I put when deciding your identity is just to limit your old identity and organize for the space and not the stuff. So this is big, especially if you're a teacher or you love the old identity. It's like, well, Bethany, there's parts of me that still want to remember that old self, still want to remember when I used to scuba dive, still wants to remember when I used to go rock climbing or when I was free. So you have to designate a small section of that identity that you still want to hold a piece of. You have to designate a small section for that identity. So this is big, especially if you're a teacher and you have like a bunch of books, you have like a bunch of things. It's okay. Being a teacher is a great thing. You loved being a teacher. That is a part of your identity. But moving to the next part of you, it's okay to limit that space. So maybe it's not a whole wall of books, but just one bookshelf of your teaching books. Maybe it's I'm trying to think of an old identity. For me specifically, I love my years in college. I loved the freedom. I loved who I was in college. But I'm no longer her. I'm a wife. I'm married. I'm in a new place. I'm in a new identity. Instead of holding all of the things that I had in college, instead of holding all of the things that I had in my old place, I limit myself. I limit myself, and I have like a t-shirt and pictures, like just a couple of things to remind me of that old identity, but it's not taking up my space, because if it took up my space, it wouldn't make room for who it is that I am now, who it is that I'm becoming. But if it's an identity where you are broken, if it's an identity where you are your lowest self, no, we got to get rid of it. And then the last action step that you're going to take is just dedicate 20 to 30 minutes to decluttering and organizing for your new identity. So we can get all of this information, but it's nothing if we don't sit down and schedule the time. Ask me any questions that you have in terms of just identity clutter and what next action steps that you could take. But I hope these action steps really helped you. And I'm excited, you guys, just to embrace this new identity, embrace this new person that I'm becoming. And I'm excited for you too. All right, I love you guys. Peace.